Welcome to episode number 17 of Wholesaling the Cool Way with Mark Cool and Jasper Cool. And yes, that's our real last name. We are wholesalers. Jasper does primarily houses. I've done primarily land, but we've been getting more into houses. And I've done some other creative financing stuff like Subject to, and we do owner finance deals and stuff. And Jasper's dabbled in other areas too. But primarily we do wholesaling, and this is just us sharing our journey. We have this mastermind that we've been doing for a few years, and we are just opening it up to the public with the intention of helping people out if we can help anybody and share our journey and stuff we're learning along the way, tools and tips and challenges and victories and everything else. So that's what this is about, and we normally started off with just like checking in with maybe any inspiration or education we've had throughout the week. We listen to a lot of podcasts, read a lot of books, we get inspired by other things. So let's start it off with that. Jasper, if you're up for that.
Yeah. Let's see. I finished Stephen Pressfield's new book this week, which I really enjoyed.
Nice.
It's very similar to his other books, so I guess it's not anything new, but I like his writing style, and I like the book. But I would probably say, War of Art and Turning Pro, it's kind of the same thing, but it's just an updated copy, I guess, and there's definitely some new ideas. But I enjoyed that book overall. And then I listened to an interview actually this morning with Noah Kagan. He interviewed this dude. I forgot the dude's name, but he the title was something like billionaire, blue collar billionaire or something. And the dude started as just a contractor when he was 18, and he built a house when he was 18. That's how he made his first money in business. He built a house with his friend and his little brother, and then after he built that first house, he just got multiple of the neighbors. He built their homes too, and he was still 18. He did this all on a summer vacation, and then he just turned a business out of it, and then now he owns a bunch of different companies, but they're all in the contracting space. So I think his primary thing is basement repairs, and he's creating in that space and servicing clients in that space. So they do a lot of basement repairs and dehumidifiers in basements and all stuff like that. And all of his companies now, they do $600 million a year. So really cool.
Wow.
So that was a really cool interview. And just it was a video, so they were walking through his warehouse or whatever, and it's also his office, but it's really, really cool. Just to see all the people that he has there and all the different equipment that he has. And they actually built an old mining town or whatever. I guess they use it for lunch breaks for their employees or something, but it's really cool. They built this whole thing to look like a really old style city. So that was really cool just to see a guy having fun with his business and crushing it at the same time. And one thing I took away from that was that Noah asked him, how are you so calm? Because the dude is pretty relaxed the whole time. And he was like, well, my phone's been on this whole time and I haven't got a single call or anything because I've hired a bunch of, really good people and good leaders. And, he said that the saying that shit flows upstream, he said that's very true, but you just got to put leaders in place so that it never makes it up to you. And so he's obviously done a very good job of that. But that was cool to see. Just that he pointed out that his phone was on and he hadn't needed to check it at all during the whole interview. So
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I also listened to that one that you also listened to with Grant Cardone on Iced Coffee Hour. That was a good one. I listened to it last Sunday, so I don't have anything that's in my mind right now, but I enjoyed listening to that one. I think the one thing that stood out to me that I can remember now is him talking about his plane. That was very inspiring to me.
Yeah.
Just talking about the cost to run it and the cost of the plane and all that stuff, and how he mentioned something where all of his friends that are also, very successful, 100 million billionaires or whatever, they said that their plane is their one prized possession, they would never give up their plane, once they get it or whatever. So I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then
what it represents, how it represents freedom and mobility, and
yeah,
that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool. And one other one that I forgot, I also listened to on Iced Coffee Hour was with Papa John, and that was really cool too, because he's also a billionaire. And they did a video where they showed his house. His house is incredible. He lives in Kentucky, and it's a really beautiful house. But they showed that one, and then they did a full interview with him, and I really liked that one too. I never like heard him speak or anything, but he's very, very smart, and he's into a lot of like Joe Dispenza type stuff, and he's very smart. He had very good answers for all their questions, and I really enjoyed that.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'd probably re-listen to that one, but it was really cool. He started out of a broom closet, which I don't even know what that is, but he started out of a broom closet selling pizzas, and then he grew from like 3 to 5 to 10 stores. And I think he said once he got like 10 stores or something, he went to like the local Domino's, and he literally like went in there and he was like, "You guys are done." And he shared that story, and they were laughing too. But like he was just so confident in his idea just to take them down, and he did. You know, Papa John's is the most successful now, I think.
Oh wow!
So really cool. And I think now they have over 5,000 stores or something. But he doesn't work. He's sold to the company. But that's cool. That was a really good one. So yeah, I'll stop with that.
A broom closet is for janitors in a commercial building or an apartment building or something. It's just a small closet where they have the mop bucket and the brooms and the cleaning supplies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you can barely turn around in there. Is basically the point.
Yeah. I guess he was like selling pizzas out there somehow. I don't know, but that's how he started, and then he just crushed it. So that was cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw that one on the list for iced coffee. I was like, wow, is this going to be good or not? So that's cool to hear. That's a good one.
Yeah, I loved it.
Awesome. Well, I'll piggyback on the iced coffee with Grant Cardone because I really enjoyed that. I actually listened to that while I was walking this nature trail in Maryland when we're up there for Thanksgiving. I was just like hiking and listening to those guys talk, and it was cool. You know, I really loved that he had his daughter on there and how poised and well-spoken she was, and she's like, what, 14 or something?
Yeah.
And made me very sad that we weren't able to complete your homeschooling journeys. We started off with that, your mom and I.
Yeah.
But because all the things he was saying about homeschooling were the way I felt, too, about it. You know, that school is not really ideal for kids, and you guys would have been a lot better off in different environments that we could create for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was cool. Just I was inspired by that they have a great connection, his daughter and him. And then, yeah, the airplane thing, and we already talked about. But then the other stuff about the economy and just his perspective on, you know, like how they were saying, like, if you have $1 million, it's not nothing anymore. You know, it's like being a millionaire hardly matters. And they went through the economics of it. And then how he talked about like buying a house is a really bad investment. You know, like all these things that people think are really important or matter. It's like $1 million, like you're not even really talking about anything until you get to 10 million at this point, you know, in terms of security and financial freedom. And then buying a house, like I still like have some dissonance around that because it's the way that most Americans, it's their biggest vehicle to building wealth because they build equity and they just stay in their house. He's right that like it can make you cash poor if you don't have a lot of liquid cash and you put it all into a house. And then, you know, right now interest rates are high, but he was talking about overall it's not a good investment. So I guess because he's saying people move every 7 years that you're not even getting your money back out of it by the time you move. You know, you're like paying primarily interest and you're putting a whole big chunk of money down, and you could have just been renting and you would have saved some money and had that money liquid to invest other places. I think that's his point. So I like that discussion because it's an out of the box and against the grain sentiment, right? Yeah. So made me really think about it. And then also there was the other piece about happiness versus productivity. I thought that was a really cool conversation that they had in there about, you know, like what's happiness and why does it matter and why is everybody trying to go for happiness, and like when you're productive and feeling like you're doing something and contributing, that contributes to a feeling of satisfaction, well-being, and happiness, you know. So like he was just saying emphasize productivity, and you'll get the other things that you want, but you're going to feel better no matter what if you're being productive. So that was cool. And I didn't know about his drug addiction journey, and he spent 10 years in that sort of hell of life, of being in a circle of being drug addicted, and he got pistol whipped and all these things crazy. but super inspiring that he's amassed the wealth and success that he has coming from where he came from, and just being determined and goal oriented and focused. And I also like the conversation, there's a conversation about his church and his religion and stuff, but just the conversation about selecting and choosing people and being willing to let go of people if they're not supporting you to be on the path you want to be on or going towards the goals you want to be going towards, and how to recognize those people at early stages. I thought that was a really good, there's just a lot of good conversations in that interview that I really enjoyed. So highly recommend that. It's Grant Cardone on Iced Coffee. Excuse me. Iced Coffee Hour podcast. Let me have a sip of tea. I got some dust or something. I did finish 10X, 2X by Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan, so that was great. Biggest takeaways from that are just, let's see, I wrote down some takeaways. Basically, the 10X, 2X thing is just thinking about going bigger, thinking about what your 20% is, and that's the 20% of actions that you do, or the 20% of skills that you have that are unique to you, your unique ability, and staying in that zone as much as possible and farming everything else out so that you can grow faster and be happier. So that's one of my takeaways from that. And then the other one is to, build a self-managing team if you're building a team. If you're not a single operator or a person with an assistant, is to just continue to empower your team to be in their 20% in the things that are their sweet spots and make them the happiest and that they're the most productive at and expressing their unique gifts, so that can just multiply onto itself and take you out of the picture, kind of like you mentioned about the blue-collar millionaire. Like the more you empower other people to be leaders in their own right and to be in their 20%, their sweet spot of their unique gifts, the more your company is going to manage itself, and you can step away and think bigger picture and do, be in your sweet spot. So I love that book. I will read it again probably next year. One of those ones to reread. Other than that, I think I've been going on for a while, so I'll wrap it up. But I did start. You've probably read this, Jasper, because everybody recommends it, but I've had it on my list and never read it. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, and it's a book that a lot of people recommend and say you should read, just as far as understanding humanity and people. And he's a concentration camp survivor from World War II, and he's focused, from what I understand in this book, and I'm like a chapter in, he's focused on looking at the qualities and the mindsets of the people who survived those concentration camps, because it was brutal and horrific, and some people gave up and some people stuck it out and survived despite the incredibly horrible conditions. And so he's just sharing his journey about that, and it's kind of intense and hard to read, but I also am committed to sticking it out because it's been recommended so many times, and I want to see what his conclusions are from after sharing his experiences in the early part of it. So anyway, that's all I've got for inspiration and education for now. So then next we normally just do a business check-in, and this will just include, sometimes we'll check in about KPIs for the week, our key performance indicators and how we're doing, how we're measuring our growth and success, and then maybe some stories about some of the deals we're doing or things we're working on, victories and challenges, things that feel like wins and things that we're having challenges with, and anything else around business. So, Jasper, are you ready to jump into that?
Yeah, let's do it. I guess I'll start with KPIs. One contract this week, but that was pretty much it. We didn't sell or close anything this week.
Tough week, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was a weird week. It was weird, but I also thought people would be open on Friday, but they weren't, so that was kind of weird. Either way, I still count it as a double victory to get a contract during Thanksgiving week. So kudos to my team, because you know how it is around this time of year. Everyone, especially on the week, it's like, oh, just call me next week. It's like.
Yeah, I'm headed out of town. Give me a call after the holiday. Yeah.
Everyone just wants to give me a call after the holiday. And stuff like Jesus. But so I'm happy we still got one. And, of course, we had most of the people push us off to next week, but we have 4 contracts in addition to the one that we sent out that were, verbal agreeing. And so hopefully next week we'll get at least 3 out of 4 of those signed as well. So it'll be a bigger week next week, hopefully. But, yeah, so just one contract this week. That's pretty much the KPIs. Other than that, we also had, 140 leads. So that was up from the week prior, and 75 offers. So I'm very happy with both of those. Yeah, very happy with both of those numbers. And that's also, with one less day that nobody worked for my team on Thursday. We did work on Wednesday and Friday, but not Thursday. So that's with one less day. We still got more leads this week than the previous week. So I'm happy with that. We're trending upwards again. Launch control seems to be improving. They actually uploaded like a newer templates to our account or whatever, and they seem to be much better. Like they're more direct. And so we experimented with those, and my team told me that the response rate is much better. And much better is relative, but we're up in the double digits again, which feels nice. So
yeah,
we're about 10 to 12% now, which is better than 8% it was the week prior. So I mean, if it's going to keep improving like that, that's really encouraging. So I'm happy with that. And but I'm also grateful that I kind of hired a bunch of cold calls and stuff in preparation for launch control to kind of fail, because now I'm getting kind of half and half rather than before it was like 90% SMS leads and nothing else pretty much. So now I feel like I'm more well balanced. And so, yeah, that feels like a victory. I kind of just transitioned to victories. Also, I had a call with this company called ClickGeek as a PPC provider, Google pay-per-click. And so up with them, and we're probably going to launch this coming week here. They're almost done. They're just working on my landing page and stuff. And so I'm excited to try that out. And
it's called ClickGeek?
Yeah, ClickGeek. And so I guess we could post that, or I can send it to you offline if you want to check them out. But I had a good call with their named Justin, and he broke down everything for me, which was really cool. So I could share my notes here briefly if anyone's interested, or just for you. So he said the minimum spend for PPC that they recommend is $3,000 a month. And he said there's a 60-day learning phase, which means like just getting your campaign kind of up and running, collecting data, and figuring out what keywords work the best for your thing, what landing page works the best. They're just kind of split testing things. And so he said after 60 days, then you should start to see more leads coming in, like more consistently, getting at least a couple leads every day. And then he said after 90 days, after 3 months, that's when you can really try to ramp up things. And if things are going well, that's when they would like increase your spend if you wanted to gradually. So I'm glad that he set expectations up front. Some people would just not tell you that and, just say anything to get you to sign up. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate he was honest with me and told me how it's going to go. And so hopefully it does go like that. And 3 months from now, I'll have consistent deal flow from another channel. That'd be exciting. So.
Are they using your website, or are they setting up a separate website?
Yeah, they're setting up a separate website, which is awesome too, because I talked to a few other PPC providers. They were more expensive, and they also didn't do as much as these people seem to do. So I'm happy because their cost is the lowest, like their management costs, and then they also seem to be very solid. So yeah, they set up the landing page, and then they're going to not only set up one, but they're going to set up multiple and split test these landing pages throughout the first 3 months, and then they'll continually split test them, but it's most aggressive throughout the first 3 months. Try to find the best one and then kind of run with that. So that's nice. It's totally hands off for me. They handle the Google Ads account, but it's my account, so I can still see everything that's going on. But they're I gave them access to my account, so yeah. I can still see the behind the dashboard on my Google Ads account. I can see everything they're doing, so I can kind of hopefully learn myself a little bit. So if down the road I want to try to take it over myself, and hopefully I'll be able to learn from them too.
Do you own the domains of the landing pages, or do they keep control of those?
No, so that they do have control of. So the landing page is totally hands off. I just have access and I guess control over the Google Ads account.
So if you decided to leave them in the future, you would have to create your own landing page.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for them. He said the average close rate that he sees for real estate investors is 1 out of 15, so that's awesome, because that means 1 out of every 15 is a deal on average, so that's sweet. And they're going to send me weekly reporting and monthly reporting so I can check all the numbers and stuff. And then they can also do Facebook ads for me, but I told them I'm just going to start with one and then see how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty excited about that. Check that
Cool.
out and see. Yeah. And other than that, we got another 5-star review this week. That was a victory.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's always nice to get those.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it for this week. Yeah.
Well, it is a slow week at Thanksgiving. You know, it's like if you're new in the business and you haven't been, this is your first holiday season, like you've got to just really be on top of people on Thanksgiving week and around Christmas, this last chunk of the year, because people will push everything off until after Thanksgiving, and then they will push everything off to the new year. So you have to try and get people locked down and signed up and set closing dates and be on top of the attorneys and the buyers and the sellers if you want to get stuff done in the calendar year.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, one more thing I forgot. The other property, that rental property that I had, we put on the market this week. I think we put on market on Thanksgiving Day and got a full price offer and accepted it. So I'm excited about that too.
Sweet. Are you going to make a profit on it?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it'll look like, but I think I'll make around $20K on it after everything. So that would be nice.
After all your repairs and everything?
Yeah, I think so. So I mean, we'll see.
We'll
see. We also never know with retail buyers. You never know if your offer is actually going to close because it's much different. You know, they have to get
their loan approval and the appraisal and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool. You should tell that story just briefly because you found that as a wholesaling lead, and then you decided you would buy it because it seemed like it could be a good rental for you, and then you had it as a rental for a little while, but then you decided to sell it. You should probably just tell the story briefly.
Yeah. So I bought this deal in last year, 2022, in April, and I had bought it for $90,000 because the rent was $900. So I was like, you know, a lot of people on podcasts and stuff, they're like, the 1% rule is a good like estimate for what you should pay for something. 1% of the purchase price is what it should rent for, and so it already met that, and so I just bought it. I thought it was a good deal, and so I bought it, and then I just kept the tenants in there. They were paying and stuff, and then I refinanced like 6 months later because you have to wait a certain amount of time to refinance. And then when I refinanced, I think I got I had the numbers in here somewhere, but I think I got like $9,000 like as a quote unquote profit. So that was, I guess I could add that to whatever I make on this.
Yeah.
But obviously there's been expenses too, so I'll run the numbers when everything closes. But yeah, I think it was about $9,000 I got on the refi check, and then I had a new loan in place, obviously a 30-year loan because I initially bought it with a hard money loan. And so, you know, from there, then things were going well. Their rent increased to $1,000 after, you know, the lease was up the first time, and so then I was making a little bit of cash flow, not really though. Most months I didn't make anything. Most months I had to come out of pocket hundreds of dollars because of repairs and stuff. So it was really not exciting for me. So I was just kind of counting down the days until their lease was up because I was going to sell it, and I was happy when they moved out. But then they completely trashed the home and they had pets and stuff. So the home was covered with fleas and cockroaches and stuff. And and my contractor that I hired had to bomb the place multiple times. It still didn't work, so I had to hire pest control to come out there. And so that took a lot of work just to get the bugs out. And then he, with the contractor, you know, he gave me one quote, and then as the work started, then he gave me another quote. So just kind of, that felt a bit frustrating as well. And then he finished all the work. I kind of told him, like, not to do a few things because I was like, dude, this is a home run deal for me. I don't want to continue spending all this money. And it's also like, it's Hickory, North Carolina. This is not like a $500,000 home, so we don't need to do it. It has to be nice. And so, to his credit, though, he did a great job. I could send you the listing if you want, but the flooring and everything he did looks great. He replaced all the doors. He painted all the doors. He replaced all the flooring because it was a mixture of carpet and original hardwoods. So the hardwoods were like rotten and molded, so we pretty much just put down LVP everywhere, and it looks really good. It looks like hardwoods, so that looks really good. We pretty much didn't do anything in the kitchen, so you can tell, it's a little bit older and stuff. Then there's a bonus room upstairs, which we pretty much left as is. And I replaced the deck, but that was last year, so it doesn't look quite as fresh. But
you put in a new HVAC after the first year, right?
Yeah, new HVAC last year too. So it's a pretty good house. So hopefully it'll pass inspections and everything. But it looks good, so I can send you a listing. But so he got done with everything, but he didn't do anything with the bathroom. It's like a one-piece shower thing. So my realtor actually had a connection that he told me, like, we don't have to replace this. We can just like stain it, like to make it look white again. And so that was nice. And he saved me some money from replacing it. So we just did that, and then we took it to market. And he was like, if you stain this, I think you can get an extra few thousand. So we went to market at $159 as opposed to $155, which was our original plan. And so that was good. Then we went under contract today, actually. So we were in the market for about 3-4 days. I had a few showings, had one full price offer, no other offers. But we went under contract with those guys because they were full price. So that's pretty much the
so in the end, it's going to be worth it for you to have bought it, even despite the headaches that you had, because you're going to profit. Sounds like you got a nice profit margin in there, even with all the expenses.
Yeah, because my new loan is the loan balance is about 101 right now. There is a penalty though, which is unfortunate.
A prepay?
I signed it, but it's a prepaid penalty, so I have to pay that in addition to the commission and closing costs and stuff. But even with all that, I'm just estimating. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm estimating I'll make around $20,000, not including the initial refi profit. So it'll be around a $30,000 profit probably.
Yeah, so that's a lot of headaches and a lot of bouncing around and back and forth, but that's still a nice profit on a deal that was originally just a wholesale lead.
Yeah. Yeah, but I also got to take into account all the times that I lost like $300 every month, so that adds up too. So either way, it'll be a profit hopefully. So you can't complain when you're making a profit.
It'll be a profit. Yeah.
Yeah. Only bummer is it's not going to close this year because they got to get a loan and all that stuff. So that's going to be a long closing, but we'll close in January sometime. So fingers crossed.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that story. It's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's good that I like that you followed your energy, that you were excited about it at first, so you went and bought it, and you were like, oh, this could be really cool to be a landlord and have this rental property and cash flow and build, build equity. And then, after being a landlord for a little while and all the hassles and stuff, you're like, oh, this isn't for me. So you sold it, but you're still making a profit. So
yeah,
it's cool that you stayed true to yourself, followed what felt right to you, like, oh, I tried this and it's not a fit for me at this time, so I'm going to do something different. Yeah. And you did it with enough margin where you could sort of fail but still succeed with a profit. So that's great.
Yeah, so I could share like the lessons that I think I've learned. Number one, obviously you make your money when you buy, you never make your money when you sell. So for anyone looking to buy a rental property or anything, make sure that you bake in margin on the front end because you never know what might happen. And don't plan to like get rich off of cash flow. Your main thing that's going to build your wealth is appreciation, in my opinion. So just hopefully cover your mortgage every month as a bonus because then you just get the debt paid out for free. But other thing I learned is that I would recommend to not inherit tenants. That was my mistake that I made. I should have not done that, but I did. And so since I don't know these people, I wasn't the one who screened them. I don't know anything about their background, anything like that. So next time if I bought another rental, I would make sure that I bought it vacant and I screened the tenants myself and I put whoever I wanted in there. And then I think the third thing is that I would not allow pets next time. Obviously in the lease and everything, it said, and then there's an addendum that was like, oh, there's service animals. But it's like, no, you don't have 4 dogs that are service animals. So
no,
that was total BS. And I knew that from day one, but I just, the house was clean when I bought it, and it just ended up not clean when they moved out. So, but yeah, those are probably the main things that I think I learned here. But if you buy right, then in most cases you'll still end up winning at the end of the day. So.
Nice. Yeah, that 4 service dogs is ridiculous. That's a joke.
And they had like a parrot in there too, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah. That's trouble. Yeah, or if you are going to have pets, then you take a deposit. I mean, we've been looking for a place to rent because we're going to build out here. So, like a lot of the places, what they're doing now is they do a deposit of a couple $100, but then they do a monthly pet fee, whatever it is, $25 to $50 a month. So,
Yeah.
that's covering you for all those repairs that you might have to do if the pet brings fleas in or pees somewhere or scratches something up or whatever. So that's probably the way to go. And if I was going to do it, I would do one. Yeah, you can have one dog, or I guess, if you're charging per dog and you're charging enough, then maybe they're okay. But yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely protect yourself with pets.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that story. That's
yeah.
I'm glad you're making a profit on it.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, I'll do my breakdown. I'll start with KPIs here. We got one contract this week. It was a vacant lot in Franklin County, North Carolina. It was from a direct mail lead, actually, which is a campaign that dropped a month ago. So that was pretty quick to get a contract in 1 month after dropping a campaign. Pardon me, drank my tea too fast. But yeah, so we got vacant lot under contract, direct mail. That was out of state, out of county prop stream list for anybody who's interested in which list we're using. It was just a lot of times we'll just do vacant land. We'll do minimum square footage of 5,000 because you can't build on anything less than that in most counties, and then we'll do out of state, out of county if we can get enough listings because those sellers tend to be more motivated. This list we use PropStream because we get 10,000 free PropStream listings downloads each month, so we often will use those up. We also use direct skip, and we've tried PropWire, but we don't use that a lot. Anyway, out of state, out of county, 5,000 square feet or more, and then sometimes we'll do a filter on a list where we're trying not to get the people who have acreage, like 10 acres or more, so we'll do like 5 acres or less on these as a parameter because we're just trying to get infill lots or residential building lots in the country, but we don't want to be talking to people who have 10 or 15 or 20 acres, but we have to analyze that a completely different way, and it's a whole different thing. So sometimes we'll just put that limit on it as well. But yeah, that's the list that came from, and we used this company called the Yellow Letter Shop, which I've just ordered my second campaign with, and so I think our response is pretty parallel to using our the other one, which was REI print mail and a different style of letter. I'll have to compare that again. I can report back, but I think our response rate is pretty similar. It's like a 0.5% to 1% response for direct mail right now.
Nice.
Yeah, and Yellow Letter Shop is pretty good. They are not great at responsiveness or communication, so I'm going to call them on that a little bit and be like, hey, I want to know that you received my list. I want to know when the drop date is, and I want to know that it's dropped. That's not unreasonable. Like, don't make me reach out to you to ask you these things. So that's my one critique of them. But, they sent out the mailer, this Franklin mailer, and we got some leads on it, and we got our first contract. So there you go.
Nice.
Let's see what else I've got for KPIs here. Yeah, we had 0 solds this week, similar to you. Like we're talking to sub buyers, but everybody slows down around Thanksgiving. We didn't close anything this week. Again, a broken up week. We had on the slate, I think, but we had actually we're doing one deal with John Brown, Jasper. He's a guy that I met through you, and we're doing JV with him. And there's some sort of an affidavit I think it's an affidavit of a will or probate or something that he's trying to track down from the seller. It was supposed to close on Monday, and now it's postponed till we can get a faxed copy of that or something. And then we had another one where the Department of Justice has a lien on this property for $1.5 million or something insane like that. So I don't know. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we're probably not going to close that because I don't think the seller's coming up with $1.5 million, and it's like a $10,000 or $20,000 deal for a vacant lot. So that was crazy.
Wow.
But we're still looking into it. We're still trying to reach out and see what the lien is for. And what I understand is generally if it's a Department of Justice, it's a judgment that was won in court, from somebody who sued this person and got a judgment attached to their land. So somebody sued this person for $1.5 million. I'm just curious to see how they got that judgment and what was it about. But I don't think we're probably closing that deal, so we'll see. So anyway, that was the first for me, DOJ loan for over $1 million or lien for over $1 million on a property. And I've seen a lot of stuff. You know, we closed over 40 deals just this year, so I've seen a lot of things. But anyway, so that was. I'm looking at my KPIs here. We had 30 leads from text. 15 of those are for vacant land, and 15 were from houses. And then we actually found 2 buyers. I don't know if this happens to you with SMS, but we'll run into buyers on SMS. No, I'm not selling, but I'm looking to buy. So we referred a couple buyers from SMS over to disposition.
Nice.
And then, we made 10 offers this week, and we got the 1 contract. We added 6 buyers in our disposition side, and that comes from, we have one of our dispositions people, you know, part of his job is to add buyers every week. So he added 6 this week. 3 of those came from Facebook scraping, 1 came from Facebook Marketplace, and 2 came from Launch Control. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and he'll also do campaigns where we'll do like searching for buyers, cash buyers on like PropStream, and then if we have a property in an area, he'll go like Edgecombe County cash buyers and then try and get a list, filter that, or even like you've done, Jasper, draw a circle around the property, find out who's buying for cash, who has an LLC within a 5 or 10 mile radius of a property we have, and then he'll reach out to those on the text platform, and sometimes we add buyers that way. But I was looking at his KPI report this week, and we had 300 buyers for the year so far that we've added. So that's great. And we're seeing the results of that in how much more easily we're selling a lot of these properties because, normally, as you know, Jasper, it's a handful of buyers who are buying everything, and people go through buying phases where they're buying a lot for a while and then they're not. But still, if we have those people in rotation, then we're gonna catch some people right. And having more buyers on the list is really helpful. So just as a tip for if you're starting out, just put some energy into building your buyer list, make it a priority because it really helps. Transaction coordination, we have 9 deals in escrow currently. That's $72K, which doesn't really matter. As you know, Jasper, like we don't know if we're going to close those or not, but if we closed all 9 of our deals in escrow, we'd have, I guess that's an average of $8K per deal, so we have a couple of lower ones in there, but it would be $72K. So it's nice to have 9 in escrow. Like I said, one of those might be falling out already. And then I just wanted to mention this deal that I've mentioned to you before, Jasper, but we're in the process of buying a property similar to what you did with this Hickory one you're talking about. We don't want to keep it, but we wanted to buy it and take control of it because we feel like there's a good profit possibility there. And as you know, like occasionally, most people do the right thing in business, but sometimes people will try and go direct to the seller and circumvent your contract. So we didn't want to just rely on a memorandum, which we've talked about in this podcast before, and I think I have a TikTok or a YouTube video about it too. But I didn't want to rely on a memorandum with this thing because it's a mobile home that is immediately inhabitable, that the person just moved out of and had done some work on, and it's 2 vacant lots that will also accommodate a mobile home that are cleared and have water and sewer lines running to them. All that stuff is huge because you can charge more for a mobile home lot. Actually, not sewer, sorry. They have water. They have public water, but people have to put a septic in. But like hooking up, doing a well is going to be somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 per lot. So when you don't have to pay that, we can charge more for that lot. Clearing the land is going to cost you whatever, $3,000 to $7,000 or $8,000 or $9,000, depending on the size of the lot and the maturity of the trees. So you got lots that are already cleared and have water going to them. That's a big bonus for us. And we have a mobile home that's move-in ready, and we've got this under contract for $25,000. And so I think we're going to be able to make way more than that off this deal, and I wanted to make sure we have control of it. So we're buying that, and that's slated to close on Monday, this Monday. It was pushed till after Thanksgiving, of course. The seller was like, well, I'm traveling. We wanted to close it last week or, as soon as possible. But she's like, I'm traveling, and I can close on the Monday after Thanksgiving. So we should close that tomorrow. And, if you haven't bought a property before, it's pretty simple. Like the closing attorney will send you the HUD to review. You'll have to e-sign that if you want to just do it remotely and wire your money into the closing attorney's office. And then as long as they get all the seller documents, they will close the deal. So the seller's going in person, so we don't have to worry about sending a mobile notary or getting documents signed or returned via FedEx from the seller. They're just going to go into the office. The lawyer will notarize everything, get everything signed, and then we'll wire our money in, and we should be closed tomorrow on Monday. So just wanted to run down that deal a little bit. And I think looked at this. This came from a SMS lead from 1 month ago. So again, pretty quick. We had an SMS lead. We talked to her a couple times. She actually initially wanted $65K for this. We made a conservative estimate at 40 to 50K. I think we'll be able to do better than that, but we offered her 25 and she took it. So that was very surprising.
Nice.
Was probably willing to go up to 30 or something on that, but that was just a great stroke of luck. And, you know, a seller who's not attached to the property is always a nice thing. You know, when you've got somebody, in this case, the woman was just older and she was moving in with her family, you know, not going to live on her own anymore. And so it sounds like maybe they have money. They're not worried about getting the max dollar out of this property. And she was just like, yeah, let's just get it done. So that's always a great thing when you run into a seller like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just a little bit of a deal breakdown on that. It was and that was on a land campaign too. So I'll just digress one more time because we have two similar deals like this. This deal we were actually marketing for vacant lots in this county, and so as I mentioned earlier, this is a mobile home on a lot, two other lots that are vacant lots that are mobile home lots, and so we were marketing for the lots, and then we found out that she had the mobile home. So then we were able to make a deal with her. Pardon me, to you know,
yeah.
And then we have a similar one where we have a deal that came from a land campaign, and it's two lots that we're selling as one, but the third lot has a house on it that the seller hasn't seen in a long time, and she just figured it was a tear down, and so we bought it as a tear down for a very, very low price, just for the price of the land. And now we've had a couple of people go out and look at it, and they're interested in the house as a rehab project. So we're able to sell that for a lot more than just a vacant lot. And that's just marketing for vacant land, but also talking to sellers who have, you know, vacant land and a house, or, you know, a tear down house or a rundown house or mobile home or whatever, and just being open to those opportunities. So that was great that we were able to get those two under contract, and those will be bigger profit deals for us than just selling a piece of land.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and I think that's all I've got for business check-in. I just wanted to go through some of this. I mean, I could do a brief SMS. We're still working with Smarter Contact. Launch control, as you said, Jasper, has been a terrible response rate, so we just kind of paused it. It's a little bit painful because we're paying for whatever, a pro account or something on there, so it's not cheap. But we're just like, we're not going to waste our energy sending out all these texts and getting like 4 responses every 1,200 texts or something like that. So we're just waiting for the next templates, which it sounds like have dropped. I didn't know that a new layer of templates had dropped in Launch Control, so we'll look into that and maybe try another campaign on Monday. But Smarter Contact is a competitor of Launch Control. They've been getting us leads, and we've been able to do like the old way of just like, hey, do you want to sell your land, and start a conversation, which has been good because we're still getting leads and having conversations, getting contracts from that. And the other, I'll just give a couple pros and cons briefly. I know I've probably done this before on these episodes, but Smarter Contact, you know, you can still communicate the old way. We've been trying to modify our templates to sort of be in between what Launch Control is doing, which is extremely conservative, and where we were, so that hopefully we don't get flagged, you know, taking out first and last name, taking out property address, things like that. But so that's a pro. The other pro is they've gotten their in-app calling function reinstalled and working. They just did a big revamping of their whole platform like 3 weeks ago, and it's just been a mess of bugs for 3 weeks. But the in-app calling is really great because if you text somebody and then they try and call you, you can just pick up right in the app. Or if you've got a hot lead, you can call right from within the app, just click on it. And that makes life easier. And then they also have remote voicemail, ringless voicemail, which we've used some and had some success with. So those are pros. And the cons are the bugginess right now because they're trying to they revamped their platform to try and get ahead of some of this the carrier crackdown that's happening, and then it just created a lot of bugs. And their customer service, I would say, is not as good as Launch Control's customer service. They're not as responsive or as knowledgeable about their product, I would say, as Launch Control is. And seems like I had one other con in my mind. Oh, their drip sequences are not as good. And even their reporting, they have similar reporting of statistics in Smarter Contact, but it's not in graphic form and as easy to just look at and get information as Launch Control. And then their drip sequences are much, much less intuitive and much more work to set up and get working than Launch Control, where you just can put somebody in a drip and edit templates and away you go. So they both have their pros and cons. You know, the biggest pro for Smarter Contact right now is, like I said, we can text people the way we've always been texting them and have the conversations and, you know, use the forbidden keywords and stuff like that right now. So that's my brief SMS check-in. We've done a lot of SMS stuff lately, so I don't need to belabor it. You can listen to our other podcasts. We've talked some about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's all I got. Any other thoughts or tips or tricks or notes before we sign off, Jasper?
No, I don't think so.
All right. I had that note that I mentioned to you at the top of the podcast about one of the things I learned about, because some of the softwares that we have, like Podio and Smarter Contact, are set up to record your phone calls for education and training purposes. But in some states you have to let people know that you're recording, but in North Carolina you don't. So if you're in North Carolina, it's a one-party consent state. So as long as you consent to record the call and you're one of the parties, you're okay. That was an interesting thing to learn. But yeah, that's all I got. Should we do quotes or appreciations and gratitudes and wrap it up?
Definitely. I appreciate you for doing this with me this week. We had some technical difficulties offline, so. Oh my God,
brutal.
I appreciate you for pushing through that, and we're still getting it done, so that's awesome. And I appreciate my team for working hard this past week, even though everyone pushed them off more than usual. So I appreciate them putting up with that, and grateful for everybody that's still helping us move deals along this week. And I'm grateful for Thanksgiving, and grateful to have a new beautiful home that we're moving into soon. And I'm grateful for the business that continues to grow and provide me new opportunities. And I'm excited about PC, so grateful for that company. Hoping that'll go well.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't have any quotes queued up. I guess I have to get better at this with the podcast and pull a book out and have something bookmarked or something. But as far as appreciations and gratitude, I'm grateful to travel to and my girlfriend's family and have a really nice Thanksgiving with them up in Maryland. It was just a really good time and great to see all those people. And the Dino, the magical cat, who was he was kind of like the life of the party in a way. It's like everybody's friend, and sleeping with us at night and purring in our ears and stuff. I always appreciate our furry friends, dogs and cats, and others that bring us a lot of joy and love. And I appreciate being able to play pickleball this morning. It was cold here, and I started this pickleball meetup on Sundays with advanced players. And if you've listened to this, you know I'm addicted to pickleball. But we had 10 guys out there, and it was like 35 degrees at 8:30. So that was pretty awesome. Got some high-level play in. It did warm up a little bit, so I'm grateful for that too, and the sun came out. But, grateful for my health and for being alive and able to do all the things I do and play and work. And, Jasper lost his great uncle. I lost my uncle recently, and we had a memorial yesterday, so it just made me even more grateful that I'm still here and able to do, live life to the fullest and be healthy and happy. And, and I appreciate my uncle for modeling for me conviction and steadfastness in his life. He picked his life purpose when he was 18, and he never wavered, and he worked for what he believed in from 18 until 79. So for 60 years. He was steadfast and consistent and committed, and that's a powerful example. So I appreciate him for that. And
Yeah.
I am out.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and drop us a comment or a like, or reach out to us and let us know what we can do more of or less of, or if you have questions or any of the resources we shared, we're happy to share them. If there's something we shared and you want to know more about it, just let us know in the comments or reach out, and have a great week.
Yeah.